morning. I'm so glad you're joining us today. I have a very special friend here today that went with me on an adventure to Mexico.
Oh, yes.
Jesslyn Adams. And I know that he's not a respecter of persons. I hope you hear. I hope it gives you ears to hear that he loves you as much as he loves me, as much as he loves Jesslyn. He loves his daughter so much, and he will meet every need, no matter what it is in your life. And I hope that is just joy for you this morning as you listen to us have this conversation. Thanks for joining us. But do you have something today you'd just like to leave our listeners with that will encourage them?
God has been showing me what I fix my mind on is really what's gonna really come up to the surface. And so I'll admit, lately I've been just focusing on things of the culture. I love to binge watch on Netflix, all these different things, but just what I fix my mind on is what I'm gonna dwell on and what's gonna overflow. And so I have a tendency to think, okay, life in heaven is where it's going to be abundant, but John 10 says, I came to have life and that they would know me abundantly now. Like we can do it here.
And pray that heaven would be in earth, our Father.
Yeah, exactly. And
so yeah, he wants us to have heaven in earth.
And I'm thinking, I want that abundant life, but that comes through the Father and being in his word. And so I'm just laying down constantly. All my worries, my fears, my desires, and asking him to make them his. And so that's
so good.
That's my encouragement.
What I fix my mind on. One of the verses is, in the word is that the words of your mouth and the meditations of your heart would please God. And I just believe that's, I personalize the word in my life. I know you do too, because it's living. It's for me. So I pray that the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart would please you, O Lord. I pray that Lee's words and meditations would please you, O Lord. I pray that Jesslyn and Matthew's words would please you, O Lord, and their meditations would please you. And meditations are important, what you're fixing your mind on, because it goes into your heart and then it comes out of your mouth. And my kids gave me such a hard time because they wanted to listen to all the current music. And they did.
Yes.
And one time, and I was telling them, you should not be listening to this music. It will stay in your head. Because I knew that, because the Beatles are still in my head. Stay in your head from your use, and they come out of your mouth, And so I was telling them that, but then I'd let them, I'd say, oh, okay, whatever, and they'd be listening, and they were listening to Friends in Low Places, and one day I was singing along with them, and they started laughing. But I said, look, this is what happens. You hear it, and then it gets in your heart, and it comes out of your mouth. So I feel like that's such great advice today. What we fix our minds on is really important. Let's fix our minds on things above. Let's fix our mind on the things that God has taught us in his word. In Jesus' name.